Emily Cartwright, and you're watching Equal Connection. Today we have Adam Cartwright here to talk a little bit about graphic design and starting your own business. So, you do graphic design. Can you tell me a little bit about graphic design?
Graphic design is kind of a hybrid business. It's half business, like sales and marketing, and half design, which is kind of art. So anything that you see that has artwork, a logo on a can of pop or a t-shirt, or artwork for like a music band, let's say, or a website, marketing related, advertising, anything you see on TV, all that artwork has to be created by a graphic designer, and then maybe that's taken by another artist who does websites or something, or a printer, and then that artwork gets created into whatever the material, the final material, to help create a brand for a product or a service.
Very cool. Did you see yourself as a graphic designer when you were in high school?
When I was your age, I liked to draw pictures. So I had art class, and after school I would sit there and I would draw pictures for hours at a time. All I knew is that I liked to draw things. I didn't really know there was even a career called graphic design until I got to college and I went to see the counselor, and she said, "You are suited for graphic design." And I said, "Well, what's graphic design?" And she said, "Well, it's an interesting career where you get to create artwork and you get paid to do that, and you can work for lots of big companies, small companies, the movie industry, any type of business. They all need graphic design because every business needs a brand, and that's graphic designers there. What they really do is they create a brand." So the sales part of it I had to learn after learning how to do the design. Then you learn how to go out and sell that to get customers and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So, how did you get to your first job to the point you are now?
So I went to college for visual communication and graphic design and illustration, learned how to do that, and between my junior and senior year I had an internship where I worked at a video company down in Orland Park, and I got to do some cool boxes for like John Wayne movies and stuff like that were coming out on release on VHS, which we don't even have anymore. But it was my first gig in the real world, and then eventually got my first job at Life Fitness doing artwork for treadmills and life cycles and things like that, and slowly worked my way up to getting that first job after college by building what's called a portfolio. And a portfolio is basically your book that shows all the artwork you've done so that someone knows you've got enough quality skills to create artwork that they would use in their business that's professional enough that they could learn how to do that. So it took many years of learning not just how to draw, but then use the computer programs like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and InDesign are primarily the tools that I use to do that. And now, of course, we do web software and video and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Cool. So, you own your own business, correct?
Yeah.
So what are some of the positives of owning your own business?
Freedom. So for many years I worked for other people's businesses. I worked at large corporations, and then I worked as what's called a freelancer within organizations at advertising agencies, which is a common place for graphic designers to work. And I did that for probably almost 10 years. And I always had this dream of having my own little design business. So in 2003, when you were just 1 year old, I decided I'm going to start my own business. And I went out, I called everybody I knew, all the customers I had done freelance projects for, and just friends and family and stuff. And I told them, I'm starting my own business. I'm going to be a graphic designer, and if you can give me even just a little bit of business, I would appreciate it. I don't need a lot, but a little for now. And went out and made new customers as well. I knocked on doors, and I sent out mailers, and I sent emails, and had to market myself to the community so that they knew, okay, this is a new graphic designer in town, and we need artwork. Because, like I said, every business needs artwork. So I would get a new account, start with that one little job. Maybe it was just a logo or a brochure or something. And then the idea is eventually you become kind of the marketing department for a small local company, or within a larger organization. Like I did a lot of work for AT&T. AT&T has hundreds and thousands of designers working for them. I'm just one designer in that puzzle, doing one piece at a time. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun starting my own business. The freedom is great because if I want to go work out in the middle of the day, I can do that. If I want to work extra hours, that's great. I can do that. I can make more money if I do that. If I don't want to work one day and I just want to go for a walk over at Knocknolls, I can do that. So yeah, there are a lot of benefits to having your own business.
Great. So what other hobbies have you developed from having this extra time, and what have you done with that?
Well, my favorite hobby is probably going to the national parks, and I have gotten into photography because of that. And so because I learned those photography skills and have taken pictures of all these parks, I learned how to work a camera. And being around photographers in the graphic design business, I learned from them as well, doing many photo shoots of models and products and things. I got to travel a little bit for that, and the good thing is that now I can use those photography skills in my design business, because if I'm doing a brochure, let's say, or a website, they're going to need photography on that. And now that I have the skills to do that as well, I can bill for that time, and I enjoy doing it. So I get to get better at a hobby that I enjoy. I charge for my time. And the equipment, of course, the other benefit of owning a business is the equipment, like the lenses and the camera, are very expensive. The lights and the backdrops and all that stuff, I get to write that off as a business expense. So instead of paying, let's say, $100 for something, I get a 30% discount. So it only costs me $70 because I get to write that off as part of owning a business.
Have you developed any other hobbies?
Yeah, music is another hobby. I love to play guitar and have been in a couple bands over the years. Doesn't really have anything to do with graphic design, but I've done graphic design for other bands, like the covers of their CDs, or if they're releasing something on iTunes, I've done graphics for that. And it's just fun to hang out with your friends and make some music and have a good time developing a new hobby. It's kind of like learning another language. Like if you learn how to speak French, let's say, you could go to France or Quebec and you could talk to somebody in another language. And music, you could go around the world. And any country in the world, if you tell someone, this is the modes I'm playing in, or the chords I'm playing, they won't even have to speak English. They'll know, okay, this is what we're doing. They could probably even hear it and just play along. And it's a great universal skill that I've really enjoyed learning that hobby, for sure.
That's great. With your portfolio, you were talking about, what are some of the businesses around here or wherever that you have worked for? IHOP on 59, if you've been there, I did their sign out front. Lots of businesses. Downtown Naperville, there's a dentist downtown that had a big sign for that. Synergy Institute on 59 did the signs in the windows, the big graphics that go top to bottom windows. Lots of local businesses around town. I've helped with Naperville, Aurora, all over the Chicago suburbs. Downtown Chicago as well, some businesses down there. And then lots of international businesses too that have done work in Asia, South America, Europe, most recently Eurasia, Europe and Asia, that whole region. And then last week I did a logo for a real estate company in Costa Rica. So the internet has really powered this whole thing where I don't need to work in any one particular place. I could be on top of a mountain if I had a laptop. I could be working on it there, and that's fantastic. So I was working with this woman in Costa Rica who was overlooking the Pacific Ocean. She's never met me. We just talked on the phone, and I was sending logos back and forth to her, and she tells me, okay, I like this one, I like that one, because I just send her a PDF, and I get feedback, and then I make whatever changes she does, and then she pays me through PayPal. So she doesn't even need to mail me a check. Everything's all electronic over the internet, and it's really been just amazing that in the last 15 years, it's possible for somebody like me to not have to commute to a job, but I can have an office, I can work at home, I can work on the beach. And that's some of the other things that really make, the internet has just really made my career fun. That's great. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.